On the Radio is brought to you by Zurich Insurance, the perfect place to catch up with all things Melbourne. If you enjoy this content and want more inside access from the team, make sure you visit the club website.
The Demons, I don't know, well, I think things are going okay, but then when you hear Sam Wiedemann, the key forward, gets a stress fracture of the femur, and then Ben Brown, the star recruits, had to go in for a knee. That's not the ideal circumstances, so we thought we'd get the Melbourne footy performance manager, Alan Richardson, on the line for the first time this year. Richo, good morning to you.
G'day, guys. How are you? G'day, Tim.
Well, we're going well. We just need to put to rest some of the Melbourne supporters' great fears at the moment. What can you tell us about Wiedemann and Brown before we get on to their possible replacements?
Yeah, no, obviously disappointing. Going to miss the start of the season, both lads. Brownie, as you just touched on, with a cartilage. So we're hoping that he'd be back, between round 4 and round 6. It'll depend a little bit on how he responds to his program. Yeah, Weeds just kept getting sore, and he's sore in the top part of his thigh. We presumed it was actually a hip, and so went in for x-rays, and it ended up being a crack in his femur, an unusual one, but still. So the same sort of time frame, Gaz, which means we potentially, if we were to get further injuries, could be a little bit light on. We've still got, Tommy Mack is training really well. Luke Jackson is also an incredibly exciting young player, only in his second year. Mitch Brown, Harrison Petty can go forward and has done so. Joel Smith can go forward. So we've still got some depth there, but if we continue to get injuries, it just makes things a bit light.
Hey, Richard, you just said that Luke Jackson is incredibly exciting. What is it that is exciting you most about him at the moment?
There's a naivety almost to the way that he plays. It's as if he hasn't read the book on how to be a tall player, and that he's just compete in the air and then let others get to work on the deck. He rates tackle and ground ball, chase, etc., as high as he does marking the ball in the air. He's a pretty special player. It's like we have another on ball around the contest when it is. He goes in the ruck, and exactly the same on ground ball. Disappointing timing for him to get injured last year. He just won the Rising Star the night we had a good victory when Gorney didn't play, and. No, he's had a really strong pre-season. As I said, he's only a young bloke, but we expect really big things from Jacko.
So with the troubles you got with Brown and also Wiedemann, you had to, as you say, just put some support in. So you've arrived at Mag Jack Door, who's going to turn up today, I think, to start some pre-season work. So I'm interested to know how you got there. Jackson Callow's a young key forward. Kane Baldwin's a young key forward. Paddy McCartan's a young bloke. He's in the system still, who you know. How did you arrive at the Mag Jack Door situation?
Well, timing's a bit of an issue for us, Gaz. So we really needed someone that we think is a chance to play for us early. Now, Mag Jack's, we think that he has the attributes to be able to support us in a couple of areas, and one of those being where we've lost a couple of players, that is key forward. He's kicked 6 goals in an AFL game last year, post his return to play when he predominantly played ruck. In fact, his form was so good at centre bounce in particular that Goldstein would start forward and flip after the centre bounce. So, that gives us potentially a bit of flexibility if it is we needed him. And so our hope would be that, the guys that I've mentioned earlier, Tommy Mack and co, will be able to get the job done and stay injury-free. But if it is that we got injuries, we think that he's probably the person that would be the most ready to be AFL fit at the start of the year. And that's pretty important. As you mentioned, someone like Paddy, who would clearly be the most talented out of that group, but it's very unlikely that Paddy's going to be ready to go at the time frame that works for us.
Talking to Melbourne's football performance manager, Alan Richardson, just going back to Ben Brown too, I know before you recruited him and there was other clubs that might have been interested. They were concerned about his longevity, his injury, that type of thing. How exhaustive was your sort of testing around Ben Brown before you recruited him?
Oh, look, it's always incredibly strong, Tim. We've got an outstanding medical team that put a lot of work into Ben. Yeah, we went into the conversation with our eyes open. We knew that he had certainly some history of a knee, and he'll need to be managed all the way through. This is an injury that is separate to that, even though it's still involving the same knee. But No, the guys did enormous work. We're really confident that he's going to be the player that we traded for. We want him for the long term. He'll certainly play some really strong footy for us this year. More of it'll be in the back half than the front half, but no, he'll still be really important for us.
How deeply did you look into the possibility? We know that Paddy McCartan has been doing a lot of training. I think he's probably given the discussions around here that he might be as fit as he's ever been. Did you look closely at Paddy as a possibility?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we looked at a lot of guys, so it's I can understand that there's a lot of noise around Paddy for all the right reasons. I think the whole industry would like to see Paddy come back and play, given that he wants to play, and certainly his family, want him to play again. No, he's in good shape. There's no doubt about that. Speaking to his manager through Lammy, our list manager, that he's keen. The AFL have ticked off. We know that. He now needs 4 weeks of non-contact. He then needs 4 weeks of contact training prior to play, and then he's probably going to need 2 or 3 games, if it was our scenario, that he'd be ready to play. And that doesn't quite work for us, but there'll be a lot of clubs watching Paddy McCartan this year to see how he goes. He's an extreme talent, and clubs would love to have him on their list if it is that he can get back playing good, strong footy.
I agree with all that. Do you think clubs, and you actually said then about clubs just standing back watching and waiting to see how he goes, do you think that the main thing that they want to see is how he's going to be able to recover from any form of knock that he might receive? Is that the lingering doubt, do you think, out there?
Yeah, I presume so, Tim. Yeah, so he'll play for Sydney VFL side, and that will certainly be what people will be looking for. He likes to collide. He likes to run into people. That's the way that Paddy plays, whether he's forward. Who knows? It might be down back, but he makes body contact a lot, and so clubs will certainly be looking to see how he responds.
Hey, Richard, a couple of quick ones on some other demons that we're interested in. Cozzy Pickett, I think I read where he had to go home for a family funeral. We had a message here that he wasn't at training or hasn't been. Is he back, or when do we expect him back?
No, Cozzy will be away for a little while, Gaz. Unfortunately, and condolences to the family, his mother passed away. So, he needs to do the right thing there, and certainly is committed to go back. The funeral is late Feb, early March. I don't know the exact date, but he'll be there until then, and then when he feels like it's the right time to leave the family, he'll come back.
That's a big... I didn't realise it was his mother, so yeah, indeed, it is huge for a young man who's away from home. So I know with Jeff Farmer, in my own experiences, that the cultures are different, aren't they, in terms of the mourning period and process. So you're not expecting Cozzy to be back at Melbourne for another, 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, no, so he'll train over there. We're blessed to have Matty Whelan here in welfare advise us with this stuff. We don't profess to know everything about the Indigenous culture, but we understand that there are some differences, and we need to respect that. And we're incredibly supportive of whatever Cozzy thinks is the right thing, and certainly his family thinks is the right thing. Then we'll support that. And it looks like it'll still be a couple of weeks until he's back. He'll train, and then he'll still have a couple of weeks prior to round one. We'll just have to wait and see how he goes.
Hey, Richo, just before we let you go, obviously we're in lockdown again. How has that affected the training regime at Melbourne in the short term?
Well, we're back down to groups of 10s today. The guys did a pretty good job last year. In fact, a really good job. The work that the boys did to get the group up in the hub. I think we went 8-5 in hub life. The last couple up in Cairns weren't great against teams below us. So if you knock those over, we go 10-3. So, no, I think the coaches are doing a really good job in that space. Hopefully it'll only be 2 sessions for us. That'll be Monday and Wednesday, and then fingers crossed we can get back to some normality. But in the grand scheme of things, we're grateful to be out here training and having the opportunity to still run around and kick the footy.
He took some good kids in the draft, Laurie and Bowie, and there's one other that just escapes me. Rosman, yeah. Yep. When would you expect or hope, or are they a chance to play early, or they need some time?
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully that the group, Cozzy and Spargo and these sort of blokes, are going to another level, and because the 2 earlier picks are more likely to be, small forwards initially, perhaps Bowie across half-back, but they're everything we want them to be. They've got really high footy IQ. Their skills really complement the work that the list management group have already done with our, strong inside mids. So, no, they're going well. Rosman's a massive runner, really big, long, raking left foot kick that a bit like the Isaac Smith type that we tried to trade for and didn't get. He's got a lot of those attributes, so really exciting kids. But I'd hope that they aren't in the tournament. It means the others that should be stepping up are stepping up, but they're doing everything they can. And Mark Williams has asked them to bring in their birth certificates, and he's burnt them in front of them, basically making the point that it doesn't matter how old you are, it's what you do, and they're putting the right steps forward.